Times like this just show how exposed some of these companies are. Starbucks is one, but there's other luxury brands as well, which have also been hit quite heavily also. But in times like this, they have to put their staff first, safety first, and that's why we're seeing a number of them close many of these stores in order to protect staff, protect customers. But ultimately, that is going to come at the cost of their bottom line, which is something we'll find out more about over the next few months.
British Airways has halted all direct routes to China, an important route in a competitive international market. What do you think the impact is going to be here on the airline sector?
I think this is going to have quite a significant impact. We have to remember that many airlines have been in the news over the course of the last few years because they are struggling. They're struggling with higher fuel costs, higher staffing costs, duties, and also the number of people actually using these airlines. There's a lot of competition. We've seen a lot of low-cost airlines actually go under because of the competitive environment right now. So something like this for British Airways is extremely unwelcome. And again, as I've already alluded to, we still don't actually know whether this is going to be an issue for the number of days, number of weeks, or even a number of months. So again, it's really hard to quantify just how big an impact this is going to have, but it comes in an extremely unwelcome time for these companies. And again, we'll only know over the next couple of quarters, once we start to see the earnings reports coming out, just how significant it has been.
We're talking about the gloom, but for some, there's a boom. I'm thinking about Japan's Kawamoto, who makes face masks. And I think we can take a look at the chart and see what's been happening to their share price since this outbreak. Talk to us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is one of the few winners of this outbreak. There's been a huge surge in demand for these masks. So if you happen to be a maker of these masks that everyone is now wearing, that were already, let's be honest, quite popular, but everyone is now wearing them. The surge in demand naturally is good for the company in the short term. Obviously, there has been efforts made to try and maintain the cost of these, because usually in these kind of scenarios, surge in demand leads to higher prices because of the competitive market. But in these situations, we are seeing attempts made to try and contain the price, because ultimately we need to look after the people who desperately need these masks. But a company like this is certainly set to benefit in the near term. Of course, hopefully this won't last too long, and I'm sure we will see the share price of this company moderate somewhat.
Is what we're seeing a dead cat bounce, or something to be more concerned about in the longer term?
I think it is probably a bit of a dead cat bounce. I think we are likely to see further declines. That we have to face facts here, and the fact is that the numbers are rising every day. The number of cases, unfortunately, the death toll as well keeps ticking higher every single day, and it almost feels like it's moving exponentially right now. The speed at which this has ramped up over the course of the last week and a half, exactly where do we think we're going to be in a week's time if this isn't contained? It's quite a morbid picture right now. So while we are seeing a little bit of a bounce in the market at this moment in time, we had a big sell-off on Monday, of course, seeing some US earnings potentially giving a little bit of a lift to investors, but I do think that is probably short-term.